All right, thank you everyone for joining us for our call this afternoon with Beau Pribula. As always, please raise your hand and I will unmute you. To help us get through everyone, if you could please limit your turn to one question, that'll help us out. We will start with Tyler Donahue.
Good afternoon, Beau. How are you doing today?
What's going on? I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for taking the time today. We haven't spoken with you, obviously, since Andy was coaching up practices. We heard from you, I think, back in February about early relationship building. But what has that been like taking the next step with these spring practices? And what have you learned about each other between offensive coordinator and quarterback?
Yeah, it's since last time we talked, we haven't really gotten into the schemes and stuff, but now, it's full go in spring ball and it's been really, really good. Really pleased with, his scheme and his coaching style and everything that he's bringing to the offense, not just the scheme, but also off the field stuff and his leadership within the offense. And that's something that I know not only I, but the entire offensive, player personnel has been really happy with. And I'm just really excited with the future that we have with Coach K.
Rich Garcello.
Hi, Bo. Thanks for doing this. Bo, how would you say that the wide receivers have looked this spring? I know they struggled a little bit last spring, but how have they looked this spring?
Yeah, this spring has been one of the best I've seen, from the receivers. I think they've, kind of had a chip on their shoulder coming in this spring, based on last season. And they've lived up to it. They've made plays. They're not just playing consistently and playing well, but they're also out there making plays and making plays on the football. And there's a lot of cool things we can do with our new offense with them, and they've, adapted really well. And I think the leadership is stronger than ever in that room, which is really important. And they've stepped up to the challenge and they've, heard their calling. And I'm really, really pleased with how they've been playing this spring.
Audrey Snyder.
Hey, both. Thanks for your time today. I'm curious, you mentioned about the different things they can do with the wide receivers in this offense. What excites you most about this offense now that you guys are kind of engulfed in it and have learned much more about it?
I think just the amount of things that we can do. This offense is a little bit different from, the last offenses in terms of terminology. And I think, you guys will understand once you kind of see us, play and everything about how many different things that we can do and how many different looks we can give a defense. I think that's something that's exciting because it makes our job on offense easier if we can always have the defense kind of reacting to us and being proactive on offense instead of reacting to what, the defense shows.
You, Frank.
Hey, Bo. I'm wondering, just from your perspective, you mentioned how the offense is a little bit different. Do you think that you have a unique advantage in how well it presumably fits you and you mentioned different things you can do in the offense. I imagine, there's a lot of things that you specifically can do. So how do you feel like that fits you?
Yeah, I think, first of all, I've had a ton of fun this whole entire spring. Like this offense, I think fits me really, really well. And it's something I'm become really comfortable with. And just a lot of the stuff that we do is kind of right up my alley. And I think, it's something I'm really excited about. And I think the offense just fits me really well.
Johnny Collins.
Hey, Bo, was the offense, you mentioned it being different. Was it difficult to learn? Was it easier to learn than learning other offenses in the past? And which way does that how does it kind of help you guys the learning process to pick it up quick?
I think at first it was probably just more in terms of verbiage and stuff, which may be a little bit more difficult to learn than the last offense. But I think in the end, it makes everything easier and everything makes more sense, I'd say.
Daniel Gallen.
Bo, what have been some of your areas of improvement this offseason? Where have you really worked on your game these last couple of months?
Um, sorry, I'm in the Mac. There's people in here, but I think really what I've improved this spring is just, this entire spring, I think I've kind of stepped up my entire game. I'm a lot more confident. I'm really comfortable out there. I think my leadership role has increased. I feel, really comfortable going through my progressions and hanging in the pocket and making some downfield throws. And then once the pocket collapses, getting out and not just running, but kind of extending the line of scrimmage and finding people downfield at the last second. And I think, it's not something that I'm really trying to do. It's just something that came with comfort. And as I just, have been here for a while, it's, I can kind of open up my entire game. And I just really think, I've kind of stepped it up this spring. I've had my redshirt season and last season, which a lot of experience helped, but I'm just in a really good state of, comfort and, I have a lot of confidence right now.
Ali Barubi.
Hey, Beau, you've made a lot of progress in 2 seasons, but you get a new offensive coordinator. Obviously, you have the continuity with Danny, but how do you go about creating that relationship with Coach Kotelnicki? Like, do you come to him? Does he come to you? And what did you want him to know about you, after 2 years in the program?
I think it was good for Coach K to kind of see both sides. Now he's coaching us, which he's always in our quarterback room. So it's that relationship with him always being in there, just, stepping in when, we need help with, quarterback stuff and understanding his schemes from his last institution. But it's also, he was with us before, he even took over as coach. So that's kind of how he kind of got to know us and really evaluate us and kind of see where he needed to, fit the pieces of the puzzle. So I think, he's done a great job of that so far.
Simon McGonigal.
So thanks for your time. Appreciate it as always. What have you seen from Ethan Grunkemeyer this spring? And even going back to, winter workouts, he comes in as an early enrollee freshman. What has impressed you about him from what you've seen so far?
Yeah, I think, I was an early enrollee and I know how hard it can be, not just to pick up a new offense and, the football aspect, but also just being a new student when you're basically still in high school. And I think he's just done a great job from a maturity standpoint of just, picking up the offense and also just picking up college as well. And he's been a great addition to our quarterback room. Stepping up, when, certain things happened and he's just done a great job in staying consistent.
Donahue.
Well, I think you might have been talking around this, but James Franklin confirmed yesterday that Jackson Smolk is out for an extended period of time with a significant injury. So with that out in the open, what has Ethan been able to gain as he kind of had an uptick in work? Has he maybe been able to work with units that otherwise he wouldn't have? How has he benefited from obviously a tough spot for Jackson, but what kind of a door did it open for him?
Yeah, I think the door was opened, when Jackson wasn't able to practice because obviously we're down a quarterback. So he kind of bumps up and he gets, forced in a position where he might not have been, from a planning standpoint before spring ball, took place. But I think it gives him an opportunity to kind of grow up a little faster than he probably would have and get in situations, with the threes and stuff like that.
T. Frank.
What sort of quarterbacks do you watch? Like, do you watch a lot of film outside of, what you need to practice? And I guess from your perspective, when you're looking for how to model your passing game or things like that, is there something you're looking at in terms of I want to improve or I want to incorporate these things that are relevant to what you do?
Yeah, in terms of quarterbacks that I watch pretty much every NFL quarterback. I think it's interesting the different styles of play. And you know, I talk with Sean Clifford a lot and Bryce Love, like what he was able to do and the things that Sean can tell me about, you know, just the NFL is a different game and those guys, you know, kind of do their own thing to some degree. And, you know, just watching the best Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen. But I also love to watch, you know, I watch a lot with Danny O'Brien, all the quarterbacks do of certain teams like San Francisco 49ers, the Lions. Some of the offenses in the NFL that have certain concepts that are very similar to ours. And that just kind of, you know, just watching just helps and how they go about, you know, just how they play the game.
Time for two more. Donnie Collins.
Well, it's probably a tough question because you see him all the time, but have you noticed a difference from Drew last year to Drew this spring? What kind of steps he's taken in a year?
Um, you know, I'd say just you know, now that he's older, I think he's a little bit more comfortable. And, you know, now that it's his, what is it? It's our third year. He can kind of, you know, not worry about as many things as you used to when it's you know, it's your first year, second year. I think he's just gotten a little bit more comfortable.
Joe Smeltzer.
Hey, Bo, thanks for the time. So obviously this spring is Danny's first as the full-time quarterbacks coach. I was wondering, how has your relationship kind of evolved with him being in a new position? Obviously you've known each other for a while, but I was wondering kind of if that new role has led to any sort of evolution in that relationship. So
I've known Danny, you know, ever since I was a recruit, and you know, we've been really close ever since. And I think Danny did such a good job even before he was a full-time quarterback coach, that the transition from his job title changing really wasn't, you know, a big difference for us because he's done such a good job in the years past ever since I've gotten here. And I'm just super glad that, you know, he's our guy now because, you know, I can't say enough good things about Danny. He helps us so much and I have a great relationship with him.